Shalom everyone, I'm here from Lightning Candle. I'd like to share with you today a fascinating story that happened with King Solomon. It goes a bit like this, listen carefully. Once upon a time, there were three men who went on a business venture and they made a lot of money. So they decided to hide their money in a secret location that only they would know. They dug a hole outside the city and decided to put all the money in the chest, put the chest inside the hole, fill the hole with dirt, and then put some grass over it so that nobody would possibly suspect there was a treasure there. So they decided to come back after some time and uncover the treasure and then divide the money among themselves. When the time came for them to uncover the treasure, they found out that the money was gone. And obviously, only one of them could have known where the treasure was. So one of them was a thief. Basically, all of them claimed to be innocent, and they couldn't decide who was the thief. They brought the case to King Solomon at the time, and who was the wisest man on earth, who heard the case, and he told them, "Gentlemen, come back here tomorrow and we'll decide who the thief was and we'll catch them by surprise. So I'll ask you some questions tomorrow, we'll find out, no worries." So the men were a bit curious, they didn't know what was going to happen, but they decided to play along. It was King Solomon after all. And the next day they came to King Solomon, and King Solomon told them, "I have a story for you. Listen carefully. We'll decide who stole the money based on this story." So King Solomon started telling them, once upon a time there was a woman who met a boy, and they were both about the same age. They loved each other very much. They decided to get married, and in order to firm their bond, they decided to swear an oath so that they would be bound by each other to get married. However, by force of circumstances, the man went to another city and they ended up forgetting about their commitment. Now, this happens very often here nowadays. Some people say maybe when they mean no, and yes means maybe. It's a bit messy. But back in the days, swearing was something very harsh. It was something that people took very seriously. So they didn't just break their oaths like that. And after some time, this woman met another man who she loved very much, and she decided to get married with him. She completely forgot again about the first oath she made. So a few days before her marriage to this new man, she suddenly remembered. She suddenly said to her husband, "Listen, we can't get married because I'm bound by this other man that I met some years ago, and it's not good to break your oath like that. We just don't do that." And the man was also very concerned. They were both very good people, very righteous people. And the man said, "You know what? You should go to the other man who you promised to get married with, and you should ask him to absolve you of your oath." So that's what she did. She took some money with her and went on a trip to find the first man she swore to. On her way there, she found a bandit who wanted to rob her of all her money, and she pleaded and she said, "Listen, you can't take my money from me. I'm on a very important mission to find to find this other man whom I swore to get married. I'm doing this because I can't get married, and you have to let me go, otherwise I won't have another chance like this again." The bandit was very touched somehow, and he decided, "You know what, you can go free. I'm on a good mood here today. be happy, I'll find somebody else to rob, whatever. And she went there on her way and found this man who was living in another city. She told him the story, and he was very happy for her. He said, you know what, you are a very good woman, very beautiful, you are very kind, and to do something like that, you deserve all the happiness in the world, you are free from my oath, you can do whatever you feel like, and get married, go be happy, and that's what we all want, right? He also was absolved from his oath to marry her, and everything went on perfectly. She went back to her future husband, they got married, and lived happily ever after. After finishing the story, King Solomon told the three men, now, let's see, I have a question for you, gentlemen. Who is the most righteous character in the story? Think about it. Is it the woman who went out of her way to find the man whom she was promised to? Is it the first man who she was supposed to get married with and absolved her? Think about it. He absolved her of. He could have had her, the woman of his dreams. He could have had a good life, but still decided to go out of his way to absolve her. Think about all his sacrifice. Or is it the robber? Because the robber was also a good person, if you think about it. He was used to robbing people and doing all sorts of bad things, but still had a change of heart. So the first man said, well, obviously it's the woman, because the woman went out of her way. She made all that was in her, all the efforts that was in her power to go out of her way to find this man and beg for his to be absolved. She deserves most praise, because such a woman is really hard to find. The second man said, you know what, I disagree with you. I think the first man is the one to be praised, because he could have had everything. He could have had this nice woman, such a righteous woman, but he sacrificed himself, and he deserves most praise. He's the most righteous one in the story. Finally, the third man said, well, I think it's the robber, because the robber, if you think about it, he had it the toughest situation. He was raised like that, and he just could have stolen her again, but he decided not to do that. He made the greatest effort in this story, so he should be praised most. King Solomon said, aha, so you, the third man, you are the thief, because only a thief sympathizes with another thief. And the man in the end ended up confessing, yes, you're right, I stole the money from my partners, and that is the end of the story. So the moral of the story is that only a thief can sympathize with another thief, meaning you can't just say that just because somebody had it rough that he is free to violate absolute principles of not stealing. Okay, you might be saying that that he had a nice change of heart and he decided to let the woman go, but at the same time you're not supposed to steal in the first place. What is this? And are you really saying that the thief's change of heart is more important than what the other two people did, that the woman and the man she was supposed to get married with did? So this reflects a little bit how our inner selves manifests in our conscious choices. You see, a robber has certain predisposition to sympathize with another robber, and there's no way we can relativize things and just absolve him. He's, of course, okay, what he did is important, but at the same time, stealing is forbidden by all standards, all religions, all spiritual systems that you can think about. And unfortunately, nowadays people tend to say, well, but he had a tough, difficult childhood. He didn't have enough opportunities. Yes, but at the same time, we all have problems, and ultimately, we're all supposed to be following the very same basic principles that bring order and peace to mankind. So this story illustrates a little bit how how our inner consciousness or our unconscious mind can influence our decisions, and vice versa. Things that we do outside, all our actions cause a certain imprint in our unconscious mind, as King Solomon, the wisest man in history, proved in this story. That's it. Hope you enjoyed the story. Thank you for actually staying until the end. I am very happy to announce that on the 15th of January, I'll be holding a webinar called Secrets to Spiritual Dating, How to Find Your Soulmate. It's going to be amazing, and it's going to be held at 9 p.m. Jerusalem time. You are all very welcome to come. So please subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to comment and like and share and follow us everywhere, basically. Thank you very much. All the best. Shalom, shalom.